Hi guys, and welcome to a new tutorial for SimFeedback. Today we are going to produce a telemetry provider. It's a plugin for Forza Horizon 4. Unfortunately, I could not find any information for the SDK or API, so we have to look for Forza Motorsport 7, and a web search found this page. And here we see the parameters, so we can enable it in the game itself. And this shows us the output structure. Output structure is the documentation about the data we will receive from the game. The description tells us that this is provided by UDP traffic, so it will be a network stream. And also in the parameters in the game, you can define the IP address and the port. So this will be the address of the remote machine receiving and the port. Next stop is to go to GitHub and search for Forza. Then sort for most stars, and let's have a look at the hits. And here we see Forza Motorsports, and it's Python, and Forza Data Monitor, and it's C#. We do use C#, so let's look at this project. Okay, we see a license here. Let's see, it's MIT, so okay, we can use this data. That's perfect. And next, let's have a look at the sources. And here is the telemetry. We see a telemetry listener. What we are looking for the telemetry here, he's called its messages, and this is perfect for us because here we have a class. He calls it message, and we can reuse this class for our purpose. So this is perfect, and we will copy this later and maybe use it, so we can save a lot of handwork. Next, we have a look at the telemetry listener. This will be the network part of this program, and yes, here we see the UDP client, and next he's open a UDP listener to listen at a specific port. This port we will use later in the game itself. And here we see what he's doing. He's running it in a loop and listening for receiving bytes from the game, and after this he is going to produce this. He called it message processor with a byte he has received. Okay, that looks simple. So what we do next, we go to the project page, and you can use Git, but if you do not use Git client, so you can simply download it by clicking here, the clone, and then download zip. This will download the whole project, and you can open it here later. So this is the open zip file. I download it, and here you can see the data, all the sources coming here. Perfect. Next step is go to the website of Microsoft Visual Studio and download the Visual Studio IDE. The community edition is perfectly fine. I have already installed it, so I will skip this step, and next we see Visual Studio open. Go here to the project homepage and then do the same as we done before. Go here to clone or download and download the zip file. This will download the zip file. We need this to produce the plugin. Next, we are going to create a project directory so we can work in it. And so go here, new folder, and we call it Forza Horizon 4. It's FH4. So this is where we are going to have our project file. Next, we are going to create a project directory so we can work in it. And so go here, new folder, and we call it Forza Horizon 4. It's FH4. So this is where we are going to have our project files. Next, we copy the downloaded files into this folder. Next, we copy the downloaded files into this folder. So next step is we open the SimFeedback zip file, and we do need only small bits from it. So next is copy the SimFeedback telemetry provider by drag and drop it to this folder. So go into this folder and open the project file by double clicking. A message will come up and ask you if you trust this file. Say yes, and this will open the project and create a new project map. Or next we need an own project. Click here, then right click and add and new project. We are going to do a DLL framework project. So this is it's called Klassenbibliothek in Germany. This is the DLL project, and then define the base directory. It's, in my case, it's sample project, and we call it Forza Horizon 4. Sample framework is okay. It's 4.6, and okay. Right click, and then we go to it's called here Verweis, maybe link in English, and we need to link this SimFeedback TelemetryProvider project to this project so we can use these sources. And then okay. Going back to the Explorer, we can see this new folder with our classes. Here's class 1. Class 1 you can see here, and these are the files. This is our project we created before. Maybe it's a good idea to have a sample project to look at it or have some ideas what we are going to do next. So the best project to start with is this AC telemetry provider. It's for Assetto Corsa, and we need to extract it. Just extract it here beside this Forza Horizon, our new project, and this will allow us to look in the sources. Go to the AC folder, and next we can drag and drop these files to have a look at it. So we have a look at the AC telemetry provider. You can just copy paste it here. If you have enough screen space, you can drag and drop this file beside the new one and have a look at it, what we are going to do next. Is we want to rename this class 1. Class 1 is not our preferred class name, so we will call it Forza Horizon 4 Telemetry Provider. Okay, and yes, okay, so this will change the name here to Forza Horizon Telemetry Provider, and we want to extend another class. It's called Abstract Telemetry Provider. This will help us to have many methods implemented before, and so we do not have to implement them again. You see an arrow here. It's a red underline, so you will have the mouse over here, and that will bring up this, and this will bring up some quick fixes. You can simply choose one of these fixes. The best fixes here is trying to import it by this using, and this will fix this error. But a new error will come up, and this will show us where we need to implement several methods. We are going to copy and paste these methods from the example. Next, we need to create the interface, the class public Forza Horizon, okay. And these needs to be extends the base class. And here we can define some parameters too. Let's copy and paste it here. So this is me. This is version 0.1 first session. Then we can define a banner image and an icon image. We will leave it here for the AC up to now. Let's see if we replace it later. And we do have a telemetry update frequency. This is the update frequency per second. And I saw it in the forum posts, it's 60. 60. Let's have a look if I'm right. So it was here and it's here anyway. Where is it? Here's it, 60 FPS. So it's 60 here also. Next, we have to define the name for this telemetry provider. We'll skip these comments so it's easier for you to read. And this name, we need to choose a unique name so that SimFeedback can define the telemetry provider by the name, and we call it FH4. It's Forza Horizon 4. Maybe Forza, or yeah, just leave it now. So we need to do the init stuff. This initialized the telemetry provider. So we are seeing here, we will call it Forza Horizon 4 telemetry provider, and we do have an arrow here and here. Same procedure, hover with the mouse over the arrow, use this quick fix, also using SimLog, okay, and when they're done, next we will override the get values. This we can do later, but let's do it now. And this will bring the values you can choose from if you are going to create a new effect. This will bring a list of strings. All the strings are the values of our API. So up to now we are returning nothing, we're returning null, and we'll get later to it. Next, we need to define the start and stop methods. Do the start first and just copy the name here. Leave it here. We will fix the errors later. Next is the stop method with the stop our provider. Copy the name. Here we go. Okay, let's see what's next. Next is the biggest method here. It's called run. So we will only go for it to have an empty version here. So, okay, what we do, nothing left here. So what we are looking for is we do not need some imports like this. That here, no, we do not want to generate anything here. So, oh no, just using, it's a T thread. We need to use these parameters over there and copy it here. So we need to resolve our last error. This is the error thread here. It's a missing link to the system threading. Done this. Okay, let's save it by pressing Ctrl S. And we do have another error here, so what we are missing in parentheses. So, okay, ready to go. This should work. Let's see if this works. Right click here and do build project to successful 0 zeros. Okay, fine. Now it's time to have a look at the project we downloaded for Forza. Let's extract it here. Okay, so this is our project we downloaded before, and we are interested in this message class. So let's have a look at it here. Got it beside this. So next we want to create a file similar to this one here. So this will be our data structure, and because this was done before, we can have a look what he has done here. He has here some getters and setters for this class. Maybe we need this too, but maybe not. So let's look at it first. So we're going to create a new class. Right click, add new element, and we need a new class. It's the normal thing here, and we call it Forza Horizon for data. So okay, this will be our data class. Click OK. This will create our new class. Put it here. So okay, we can do this easy by just copy and pasting these ones and this ones. This is the parse class. So yeah, maybe not a bad idea to have this parsing in this class too. So copy and paste it here. Here we go. So many red lines. Okay. This is because it does not know what this annotation means. It's JSON property, so we can use this JSON property and generate it. Maybe he's using another framework for it, so let's deal with it. I did a quick web search for JSON property in C#, and this did come up, and it's a framework that will allow you the JSON properties of any of your data classes, so you can expose them later for web services, and but we do not need it here, so I'm going to delete these. Easy, like Control H, and then you can just replace it. We replace it with nothing in this document and replace all, and we are done. This is not the right name. We call it FH4 data. Just replace it here, and that's it. This will be good now. So I've done it before in the DCS. So let's have a look at the DCS TelemetryProvider. I extracted it from the zip file and just drag and dropped it here so we can have a look at it. It's the same as the telemetry listener. The telemetry listener is how the guy implemented it, and it's really simple. It's just an UDP client. It's open a server and listen for the connection. And as we have implemented it before in the DCS TelemetryProvider, I'm looking at this and will copy some program logic from there. So we will first start and create our new own data project. It's FH data, and let's call it data. Okay. So this is our data. Next we do need a stopwatch. Here we go. Stopwatch. So next import the stopwatch by the using directive. So next we need a UDP client. Yes, here is our UDP client, and bind it to our port number, and let's do some logging so we know we have done it. So port number, this is not defined, UDP client is not defined, just hover using the same here for the IP endpoint, IP endpoint 9, and port number. Port number, yeah, port number important. Let's define the port number and the IP. We are going to end the endpoint. Let's see if we do need this. No, just these two. We are going to have them here, temporary, and move them up later. So next, so we see no errors here, but no, this is not the DCS thread, this is a Forza 4 thread, so right. Next, go down here. Next, yeah, we are going to listen until we get a stop command, right? Go here, close it, right. So, okay. While we do not get a close command, what we do? First, we want to use a try catch because we do not want this application to shut down if any error occurs or happens. So just copy this here too. So exception, oh, do you know? So exception, same thing here, hover, use the quick fix, and it's done. Next, yeah, I'm going to copy this so it queries the socket about available data, then it goes next, and okay, this is logic for some sleep commands if we do not have any data or get any timeout values. So let's have a look at this. We are listening for the socket, and if this is null, so we do not have any information received, when we are going to look for a timeout, and the timeout is here 500 milliseconds, and if we haven't received any data for 500 milliseconds, we are going to set is running to false and is connected to false, and let's have this thread sleep for 1 second. Otherwise, we do have a greater value, so we slept for above 500 milliseconds, we just sleep 1 millisecond and continue. Okay. Maybe a little bit, yeah, maybe let's sleep here for 100, should be better. So otherwise we are connected, and so we going here and set this property to true, and setting this property to true will fire events that will make the program start again and receive the data for the effects. Next. So bytes received, we want to receive these bytes and make sure we receive this with a right encoding, and go to our port. Let's see if he has done it before or like what he had done with these bytes. So and sender IP, and we need to define it with sender IP2. Let's see how I have defined it before. So copy this. We do need this here. This is our sender IP. Okay, here we go. This is our received bytes. We use our data class to parse this data, and received. Yes, so here we go. So now the data received from the network stream should be in our data class here. We know it is running, so let's set is running to true. And then we need to create some new classes. The telemetry info class is needed, and let's do it. Create these class. We need telemetry value and telemetry info. Start with telemetry value. Simple class. Right click. Right click and new element. And this is called Forza Horizon 4. Telemetry value. Okay, here we go. This is our class. Just copy and paste this code. Sorry. Just this. And make it public. So, okay. So we need to rename this Forza Horizon 4 telemetry value. Okay. And we are done here. Nothing needed here for our namespace. We need to extend this to the abstract telemetry value to implement this. So try to use it, and we are done. Next is telemetry info. Add new element. Forza Horizon 4. Telemetry info. Okay. Here we go. So we need to extend the telemetry info too here. So just import it by using yes. And this is a special class. This class is responsible for looking up the values from the data object and maybe to calculate some values or to store values maybe from the past, so we can have a diff from various data, but let's do it the simple way and let's find out if this is okay for Forza Horizon. We need just a public constructor, and we need to implement this method too. And with the provide the data lookup. It's telemetry values by name, and we'll give name as the lookup key for the data. So create a public constructor. We will store the Forza Horizon 4 data here. And just call it maybe telemetry data. Okay. This data we're going to use here in this lookup. We're going to copy and paste. Okay, let's have a look at this method. So first we need an object where we can store this value into. It's a telemetry value, and this we call it here Forza Horizon 4 telemetry value TV, and we're looking for this name, and this is not DCS data, so this is Forza Horizon 4 data, and this is the property info. We need some reflection methods to find out if we do have this property or not, or it's just a simple field. And if we do not have the data, we throw an exception. It's an unknown telemetry value exception to inform that we do not have this data to the application. And next we use our Forza Horizon telemetry value, what we created before, and if this value is not null, we are going to return the value. Simple. So let's do a quick recap. We have implemented a telemetry provider for Forza Horizon, and we have named it Forza Horizon 4 telemetry provider, FH4 telemetry provider. This extends an abstract telemetry provider, and this abstract telemetry provider will allow us to use some methods and do not have to implement all methods by hand, and this is just a quick help and a quick way to get you started. Next we need a data object. We copied this data structure from the GitHub project, and this is our data object. It holds all information in this object. Next we have created an object. This is primary for the event. This is used to get the information to the application. And next we have a telemetry info, and we implemented a simple method just by using reflection. Our effect tells which effect we want to know or to receive the data by providing here the name property or name information. And when we have a look at our Forza Horizon 4 data class, and let's and have a look if we can look up it in the fields or in the properties. So if we will find it in the fields, we provide it from there. Otherwise we have a look at the properties, and if we do not find it in either, we throw an exception, and this value will then be put into the telemetry value in this class, and this class will be used from SimFeedback to calculate the values later. So it's time to build the project. Right click and build, and I've done it before, so it's okay for me. So if you can choose to do a new build, and this will build a new build, and it says successful. Okay, perfect. Next we look at the output. the output is in the bin file. We have here the debug build. So let's look at the debug directory, and here we go. This is our Forza Horizon 4 DLL for SimFeedback. This we need to copy into the installation of SimFeedback later. Next, we will do a fresh install. Go to the release page and download SimFeedback 0008.05, like I have already done here. Then copy this in your project folder and extract. Here we go. Run remove blocking and then try to start the software. Okay, so we need to set the COM port, like always, -1. Okay, and you can set your USB sound card or sound card you would like to use. I'm using this USB, free USB. Okay, here we go. So next we close the application, and then we need to copy the license file, copy here. Okay, replace the license file and start again. So okay, let's have a look at the license, and we're okay. So to set up and enable expert mode, so this is what we wanted to see. Close the application. Next we need to copy a profile that we can use and edit some values. So we go to profiles, we copy the AC profile, copy it here, and rename the profile to something like, this is important, we need to have the same identifier as we used before in the sources. So it's Forza Horizon 4 as the identifier, and I'm calling it Forza Horizon 4. Here we go. So next, edit this, and we are going to delete all effects here from the feedback effect list. So, or maybe we can just leave here. This will make things much easier. So one effect can stay, the others need to go. Go down, all the way down to the list. So yours needs to look like mine. We have only one effect here, feedback effect, heave motion effect. This is our testing effect. And next we need to replace the telemetry key, but we are doing this in the software. Save it. We need to edit some other keys like the TelemetryProvider. So it's Forza Horizon 4 for the TelemetryProvider, and call it here Forza Horizon 4 or cars, like this. We leave the rest here, so save, and then try to start SimFeedback. Okay, so here we go. This is Forza Horizon or cars. We say activate. So now we do have only one key on one effect here. This is okay. This is where we are going to test it out. So okay, next step. We want to make sure that the can debug our application up to now. So what we're doing is we are changing our output. So In this here, you can change the output to the provider directory itself. So each time we build our project, our DLL will show up in the provider directory under our SimFeedback installation. So this is first, and after that we can start the application. We put a breakpoint here and start up, in our example, Forza Horizon 4. And then this should be get hit, this breakpoint here. Or let's do it a little bit in front, like here. And let's see what we got. So we're going to our installation and start SimFeedback. After SimFeedback is started, we need to change the telemetry key here. So, but you can leave it at first, and let's see if we get a connection. SimFeedback is running. So next is to debug. Then we go to attach to another process. You can attach it here and find it over the filter. So this is SimFeedback running. I'm attaching it. So next thing is we going to start, and then the breakpoint get hit here. So next we step over and see what we've got. I do have Forza running on another monitor, so you see it here. And this is the case because we hit point get hit and we step over to get the data. And here we can see the data. It's all 0, but the timestamp. So it seems to be working because it's now in the menu. The game itself is in the menu, so no data output here. So this time I had set up a breakpoint with a condition, and condition is data acceleration y is not 0, and this breakpoint was hit now, and now we have another look here at the data, and hey, voila, the data's coming. Hey, great. So we could have a look at all the data, and here's our acceleration x, y, and z, and now we need to find out what we are looking for and what it is all about, what units are used, and so on. Let's see. So I had no telemetry output in the application, like here, the red bar, like expected. So next I had a look what I've done here in the implementation, and the constructor receives here the data for the new part, but the info data was not saved here to the telemetry data. This needs to be fixed. So telemetry data is our data. All right, save it. Now we need to stop this. Okay, stop it. We need to build it again. Okay, successful. Start up. Right. Okay, have some real time. It's going, and here we go. Here we are, and see the data's coming. So next here. Now we delete this breakpoint. Do not use it anymore. So let's see what we got driving. This is all live. So here you can see it. Okay. Okay, let's see if you guys can have a look here. Okay. It's all in debug mode, so it's really not that fast. Okay, have some fun here. Oh, nice. Oh, that's... Oh, this is my special car. Love it. Right, so as you can see, Forza is working. Forza Horizon 4. Hey, cool.